Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everybody. Good to see everybody out tonight. First item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from our October 24th meeting. With any corrections, changes, questions? None? If not, we'll approve those as submitted. Report of the town manager. Where'd Bart go? Well, I guess we'll get back to him. All right, we'll get back to him in a minute. Appearances before council. We have one person signed up tonight, Mr. Brawley. If you'd like to come up and give us your name and your address and your thoughts.
I know y'all get tired of seeing it, but anyway. Troy Brawley, 1560 Fuqua Mill Road, Bedford, Virginia, 24523.
Right.
All right, so I'm back up here again. I know that we did do the acceptance of the what I'm talking about.
Subdivision.
The subdivision. So you went and put up stop signs right there at Walmart, all of that. That's what I'm worried about now. The reason being, because just like I just told the mayor, if you think about it, normal driving, that's what people think about. When you normal driving, you're going to yield to the person coming to you and you making a left turn. That's a normal thing for you to yield. All right, I'm going to turn right here. This person's coming up from Larry Street. This person's coming from Walmart. They're going to yield and make it left. They're going to come back to you. Where we messed up, in my opinion, is when we came up here and talked to you guys about that area that didn't stop, right? For people not stopping. We had said that they wouldn't stop because of the yield sign that was on Freedom Lane, which is that short road coming towards the Ford place. I don't know if anybody remembers and knows exactly what I'm talking about, but if you would have put a flashing stop sign there, then they should have to stop and look, because that's where they kept coming. They were just going on to Walmart. You'd be going ahead, they going on towards Walmart. You'd be ready to run into them. It wasn't a problem of us going this way if you stopped them on Freedom Lane. That's what we wanted. I think I got another group of members of my community right behind here too that's going to speak also about the same thing. I just think you're going to have more people coming from the housing department, whatever you want to call it. So they're going to be coming up through there. Now we get there and we just, are you going to go? Am I going to go? It's crazy. It's more dangerous now, I think, than what it was at first. I really do. I mean, because it's just too many cars coming for you to have to stop and just look at each other. Other than that, I had to flash my lights in order for somebody to go. You know what I mean? It's more dangerous the way you got it. I'm pretty sure if you look back at the ruckus, the only thing we said we wanted was them to change that yield sign to a stop sign on Freedom Lane. If you would have done that and kept it, because again, like me and you were just talking about, Mayor, to me, that's normal driving. That's why people still going right now. Because it's normal. If you go anywhere, up here in Main Street, anywhere, you to make a left turn, you yield to the person coming this way. So that's normal. That's normal roadway. But where it's not normal is for you, you know what I'm saying, like you got it right now. So we just look, we literally just stop and look at each other and figure out who's going to go first. You know, and it's going to cause an accident sooner or later, I think, but, I don't know. Especially once you get more traffic. So I just wish we could look at that. What I'd like to see is the flashing sign that you got on Larry coming up. I'd like for that sign to go on the Freedom Lane side. That Freedom Lane side, I want them to stop. That's what, and the straightaway from Walmart and Larry should be open. That way when you got all these people coming from the new housing, they'll be the go straight. This will be the go straight. Those people that's supposed to stop is right there. You do have a stop sign over at the Ford place right there, but I can't even remember. You might get maybe 10 cars out of there. Most people going to go out the other way when they go out the Ford place. You know, you got the 2 inches. Most of them going to go out on that other road instead of coming that way. I mean, we very seldom see people coming out that road. They do, but it's very seldom. Most of the time, it's that Freedom Lane traffic that's been the most trouble for us. Really, I mean, it's I told him I talked to whoever the head of JD for head of
More, yeah.
Okay, I talked to him and he said he sat there and watched people. And it's because, in my opinion, it's not normal for you to stop and you throw the signs up, and I understand the signs all over, but I just don't think people, that's not a normal way to do it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you think about it, when you normally out there driving, you gonna yield to the person if you're making a left turn. You just are, right? I mean, anybody that drives, that's normal. And when you come to a four-way stop like the one you got, I think it's one over where Rubbertex is. It's somewhere in that area you got a four-way stop. How much traffic do they get through there, right? How much traffic do they normally get through there? A lot of times I don't believe it's a whole lot compared to what we may end up getting.
Right. Yeah.
Especially. So I'm sorry, but that's all I have to say.
Okay, no.
You know, I really do think you ought to just look at it and see, because even the VDOT guy said he thinks it's gonna be worse. He said he sent something to the town mayor. What's the, oh man, I forgot that guy's name. The head of the town, I forgot. Whoever, he town manager. He sent it to the town manager, he sent it to the chief of police.
There we go.
I'm sorry, I can't remember what, but like I said, he said everybody should have the information when the people went through there. He said he watched like 90-something cars, so he just kept going because it's not normal. That's not, even if you make people stop there, like I said, I'm gonna be like, are you gonna go? You gonna go home? You know,
Okay.
that's what we got into now, so I just think it's bad.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else wish to speak? Sorry. Okay. All right. Mr. Warner, we'll go back to you if you got a report.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's all right.
I'll explain in just a second. I have several things to pass along tonight. One, our employees are rare, but I wanted to extend condolences to our colleague in the electric department, Debbie Patterson. Her husband, Buck, who was a longtime county employee, recently passed away after a long and valiant battle with major health issues. On a happier note, I want to congratulate D.W. Lawhorn, who has been selected to serve as vice chairman of the Virginia Board of Waste Management Facility Operators. D.W. will commence his term in this statewide leadership role beginning in January. As a reminder, citizens currently receiving curbside solid waste services who are interested in opting out for the 6-month period beginning in January need to notify the utility billing department by December 1st. Also, as a reminder, the fee for curbside pickup is for all services, including leaf pickup, and customers who opt out are not eligible to receive those curbside services that are offered. There's been a little bit of confusion about that. Wanted to let you folks know we're looking to schedule the annual strategic planning retreat with town council and department heads for Saturday, January 20th. Please confer with Deborah Anderson regarding your availability. I know of one conflict that, of an incoming council member, but let us know what the rest of you look like so we can see about alternate schedules.
Or see if the 27th would work too, yeah.
And our facilitators.
Oh, okay. Is our facilitator available?
He is, but if you'll let Deborah know individually, then we'll figure that out.
Okay, all right.
Because some of you may have issues on the 27th. Also wanted to extend congratulations to the Liberty High School girls cross country team who recently won the Group 2A state championship. Along the way, they also captured both the Seminole District and Region 2C championships. So we need to update our sign commemorating Liberty High School's achievements. More good news from LHS. The Performing Arts Group took first place at the sectional one-act play competition on November 4th. Haley McGuire Hernandez and Zach Davis received individual Best Actor honors there, and we extend best wishes as they advance to regional competition at Nelson County High School this Saturday. Town offices will be closed in accordance with the Thanksgiving holiday schedule beginning at noon on Wednesday, November 22nd, and for the remainder of the week, which includes the full days of Thursday and Friday. And I also will be asking for you to add an item to the agenda, which was what I was printing out when we started, a resolution of support for the Virginia America 250 Commission. And that concludes my relatively lengthy report, but I'll be happy to respond to any questions you have.
Anybody got any questions? Mr. Warren? No? All right. Council comments. Bruce, we start showing you.
Okay.
Well, first, I'd like to congratulate the Liberty High School cross-country team for winning the state championship. That was well-earned, well-deserved. Now, obviously, sometimes selections don't quite go the way that you always want. So, you know, but one thing I will do is I will congratulate everybody that won. Bob Carson, Stacey Haley, Tim Black, C.G. Stanley, Bruce Johansson, Todd Foreman, and Daryl Updike. Congratulations. And some advice that was given me years ago was actually given me from a Democrat. Everybody knows I'm Republican, but what he told me was when you run for office, you get into it for the right reasons. I'm hoping that the newcomers do follow that advice as well. In my time on council, I have seen things, I have heard things that could get us moving in the right direction, and I've also some things that have hindered us. I've also been able to see why a lot of young people want to leave. A lot of them, which hopefully we can change, a new council can change, they don't think there's opportunities here for them. They don't think that unless they belong to a certain group that they're ever going to have a chance. I've had young people come up to me and say, Bruce, I don't have a chance here unless I belong to a certain group. The other reason that they've told me they want to leave Bedford is, well, the gossip mongers. That's one of the reasons that a lot of young people are leaving our town. And I turn over to...
Yep. I have a couple of things to bring tonight. One, there's going to be a dedication at the Elks Cemetery this Saturday at 10 o'clock. The presentation will be of the flag is going to be presented there and lit. That cemetery has had a facelift and is looking in really good condition, as is the road. So the American Legion is going to be there to present an award to the Stewartsville ROTC program. And we're also participants in that for the county and for the town. But the American Legion has also been busy. They have presented to our tribute center, the tribute center, the Bedford Boys Tribute Center in the middle of town. The American Legion has recognized that as a site that has a museum. They did a formal presentation to the Tribute Center, which is run by Ken Parker and Linda Parker. But I'm not going to read this, but I will give a copy of that presentation. The American Legion, this was brought by the 104th National Convention to the Tribute Center. So it's really a neat presentation that they made to it. The other thing, the American Legion also made a commendation to the Bedford Boys Tribute Center. So two things, we'll give copies of that to show, but I think we can be proud of what Ken Parker and Linda Parker have done there in the middle of town. I'll go on.
And you're done. I want to start out by again congratulating the girls cross country at Liberty for their state title. I believe that is a first. I don't think Liberty's ever won a state title in track or anything of that nature, so that's quite an accomplishment. DW, congratulations, Vice Chair. I got to give you my little spiel. You know, if other opportunities come, you love it here. You don't want to go anywhere else, and you're happy and want to retire here. Appreciate it. Keep up the good work. Also, I want to congratulate all the ones who ran and got elected and re-elected in this past Tuesday's election. It was a good election, and I also want to thank the ones who also ran. As I've said before, you all made it a very interesting and challenging election. My hats off to all of you all. It was one of the more, as I say, interesting campaigns I've ever been in, but we all did it together. And as I always say, in politics, anything like this, when it is all said and done, we may have had some back and forth or whatever, but we're all in Bedford, we're friends, we're neighbors, and we all go back to getting along. Also, I want to thank the voters who turned out. They're the ones that made it happen. They voted for the candidate of their choice. And when I was out talking to people, I would say, I would appreciate your support, but please just vote. So it was around the average 40 percentile. That's low. And I think back, we just had Veterans Day, and recognize the men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice so we could have the freedom to vote. Take advantage of it. I mean, and the men and women who have served and came home, their sacrifices that they all make. So again, I would like a higher percentile of voters to turn out. Everyone, just continue to talk that up, please. Again, congratulations to all that were elected, re-elected, and who ran. Appreciate it.
Kind of off of CG, I want to congratulate everybody that won the election and won the seats back, and the new people that's coming on board. I want to thank DW and congratulate him on his new position on that board. In the process, I want to thank the people that did run. And, everybody, you stepped up to the plate and you showed the town that you're willing to serve this town for who you are. The whole point is teamwork and trying to work together in town and get along with everybody. The whole process is, like I said, the voters is who put you up here. And I want to thank all of them too. And thank you for everybody else that what you do for the town.
As usual, I don't have a lot of comments, but congrats to DW. Well deserved, and to all the winners, and of course to Liberty High School. And it was an interesting election. It's good to see 13 candidates. I hope that continues, because I think when I've run, it wasn't, we maybe had one more person running than seat available once. But so good to see the participation, and that's all I have.
I know I'm going to sound like a broken record, but so be it. I just want to say thank you to all the people that believed in me, the people that voted for me, the people that have supported me. I want to say thank you. I want to welcome the two newcomers, Todd Foreman, Darrell Updike. Look forward to working with you. It was a pretty tough election, but I learned lessons from it, and I think everybody else did. But one thing I learned is that, yeah, we can go back and forth. We can say this, we can say that. And sometimes words that once spoken, they can't be taken back. But I think in the end, we all had pretty much the same idea in mind: moving Bedford forward. You might have had a different idea than we did, or a different idea than the next man, but I think we was all thinking about the same thing. So I thank those that ran also. I do. And as we was going from poll to poll, I watched those of us that were against each other talk to each other. We talked. We didn't argue. We wasn't upset at it. We actually talked to each other. And I thought to myself, if we could do that now, why can't we do this for this town all the way through? So I'm hoping that we can do that. Everything I said during this election, I meant. Everything that I said, I meant. I'm not mad at nobody. I forgive all of those that were pretty harsh toward me. And my sole purpose here is for the people of the town of Bedford. I'm not here for the prestige of a position. I am not here for a pat on the back. I am here to try to be a part of something good to move us forward. I don't have to be the lead. All I have to do is be a part of it. And I'm hoping that we can all feel that way. Congratulations to you, DW. Congratulations to Liberty High School. But we got so much to be thankful for. And in spite of the way things went, I'm still hoping that those of us that was friends before the election, somehow we can cross that bridge and be friends after the election. I'm certainly hoping that, because it's gonna take all of us to move this town. There's 7 of us here, but it's gonna take all of us to move this town forward where it needs to be. Thank you.
All right, a couple things, and once again, congratulations to those who were elected in the recent election. Mr. Updike, Mr. Foreman, look forward to opportunity to work with you all over the next year and you know, incorporate your thoughts and ideas on how we can make the Bedford a better place. Bruce, you know, thank you for your last 4 years of service up here. You know, you've come with some good ideas and made us think on things, and so we appreciate, you know, the last 4 years you served up here. And for the ones who ran, like I said, it's always good to be challenged. It's always good to hear new ideas and different thoughts. I learned a lot. You know, I heard what we need to work on, and we need to work on it together, like everybody said. But you know, there are things that we can do to continue to all provide for what we think is the best for our citizens here in this town. We know deep down everybody has the same motivation and the same incentive when they decided to run, and that was to make Bedford the best place it could be for people to live and work and visit. So, you know, don't disengage, stay engaged. You know, give us your thoughts, your ideas, your solutions, because we don't have all the answers. We never have and never will. It's the community that's got to help guide us in that direction. So once again, I appreciate everybody wanting to serve this community, and if there's any way or any questions you ever have for me, please reach out to me. I'll be happy to talk to you, you know, at any time. Couple of things, like everybody else, I'd like to congratulate the Liberty women's cross country team. I believe that's the 5th state championship in school history now. So we're working on, just like we did previously for some of the softball team, we're working on trying to incorporate an event to celebrate them in our community, maybe trying to tie that in with our Christmas parade, but there'll be more as we kind of reach some details on that. There'll be some more, but they deserve to be recognized in this community and celebrated for their accomplishments, and I think we'll aim to try to make something happen with that. I did have the opportunity, if you haven't had the opportunity to go and visit the gentleman that's repairing the cemetery, he is an amazing person to talk to. I mean, we are lucky and blessed to have him here. I mean, he is a true expert. I mean, he told me he repaired the headstone of the oldest grave in the grave site in America, I believe, down in Jamestown in 1600s. So, like I said, we're blessed to have him here, and he's doing some good stuff on making some progress on repairing all that damage in the cemetery. So, council members, staff, if you haven't had a chance to go talk to him, he's a pretty interesting fellow. Last thing, just want to remind everybody, as we sit here and see, you know, a wildfire burning in Big Island, the county's under a burn ban. That means the town's under a burn ban. That means no open fires, you know, no fire pits, no campfires, no burning leaves, nothing. I mean, it's a very dangerous situation out there right now. It's very dry, you know, so keep that in mind, and you know, help protect our community and, you know, our surrounding area, because, it won't take much, and those things that we're seeing right now will get out of control. So just, I wanted to remind everybody of that, to keep that in mind. All right, with that, or we'll get to the revisions, because I got a revision to the agenda too. Report of council, committees, PD, or
We had a 6 o'clock an electric committee meeting, and all of it was in closed session, so I cannot say any more, but there'll be more to come.
And at the same time, we also had a property committee meeting. It was held in closed session. The only thing I can say is good things are coming down the pike, and I'll leave it at that.
all right, and then that's on the committees, I think, that's met since last meeting. Revisions to the agenda, we also want to have a discussion, Mr. Lockerbie, the D-Day has reached out to us, so about giving them permission to work on their walking trail that kind of encroaches on some of the town property. So we just want to have a discussion about that and how best to handle that. So we'll add that to new business as well.
And I would also like to add a resolution supporting the Virginia America 250 Commission
Okay.
as the last line.
All right. Any other additions? Okay. If not, we'll turn it over to Mr. Warner for about an appointment of a member to the Bedford Regional Water Authority.
The term of Mr. Michael Boldenauer on the Bedford Regional Water Authority will expire on December 31st, 2023. Mr. Boldenauer has expressed a willingness to serve another term on the authority if reappointed by council. We had another citizen express interest in serving, but they have subsequently withdrawn their candidacy. The vacancy has been advertised in local newspaper. Tonight, Town Council is requested to appoint a representative to serve a 4-year term on the Bedford Regional Water Authority Board, said term to expire December 31, 2027.
All right. Do we have a?
I make a motion that we not appoint Nancy Lajan to the Water Authority as representative to serve a 4-year term that will expire on December 31st, 2027.
To serve or not to serve?
To serve.
She is withdrawn.
She withdrew her candidacy.
Yeah.
Yes, so she,
My application. I appreciate your attention and everything, but my concern for my health, my age, and the continuity within BRWA led me to withdraw my application. Thank you. I may try to serve on some other, committee at some other point, but for now, I choose not to serve.
okay, thank you, Ms.
Thank
Layton,
you.
for your interest.
I move that we accept Mike Mollenauer as the person to serve on the water board.
Second.
Yeah.
So we have a first and a second. Any discussion? Oh, all right, roll call.
Mr. Carson.
Aye.
Mr. Miller.
Aye.
Mr. Hartwick.
Aye.
Mr. Johansson.
Aye.
Mr. Shelby.
Aye.
Mr. Stanley.
Aye.
Mayor Black.
Aye.
Motion carries with 7 ayes.
Real quick, Bart, just before we move on, do we have any openings in the, we have one on the Housing and Redevelopment Authority? Is that the only opening right now that we have?
I'm not aware of any others, but I'll
Okay.
confirm that and get back to you.
All right. All right, thanks. All right, next item. Request.
Next item is a request to close the street in conjunction with the Christmas in Centertown and tree lighting event. Jonathan Hayden is hosting the Christmas in Centertown and tree lighting event on Saturday, December 2nd from 2 o'clock p.m. to 7 o'clock p.m. The end of the event will be the lighting of the 16-foot tree at 6 o'clock p.m. Mr. Hayden is requesting the following road closure. South Bridge Street to be closed beginning at 1:30 p.m. and reopening at 7 p.m. And I think that's the area between Main Street and Washington Street. He will notify the fire department, Bedford County Fire and Rescue, and police department of the street closings. Town council is requested to close South Bridge Street between Main Street and Washington Street for the Christmas in Centertown and tree lighting event on Saturday, December 2nd from 2 o'clock p.m. to 7 o'clock p.m.
All right, do we have a motion by Mr. Hartwick? We have a second?
Second.
All right, any discussion? Looks like all the paperwork
Yeah.
is Been filed and completed, okay.
Pretty routine.
All right. Roll call.
Mr. Haley?
Aye.
Mr. Hartwick? Mr. Johansson?
Aye.
Mr. Sherlin?
Aye.
Mr. Stanley?
Aye.
Mr. Carson?
Aye.
Mayor Black?
Aye.
Motion carries with 7 ayes.
All right, next item, we got DW. This is kind of the ongoing thing where we wanted to try to get our department heads to come and tell us a little bit about what's going on, and also to help inform our citizens about some, what our departments kind of are doing. So DW, we'll turn it over to you.
All right. Thank you for the opportunity tonight. I apologize, it's a little chilly in here. We are having some problems with the heat. But it probably wouldn't hurt you guys to snow when we get a little closer in.
It is a little cool.
I don't have a PowerPoint, I know we have other stuff on the agenda, so I'll kind of breeze through it real quick. Public Works Department is made up of 30 employees. We have the Public Works section of the budget item. They have $4.2 million as our total budget, and as a reminder, $1.7 million of that comes from VDOT to maintain our roads and right-of-ways, stuff like that. And as Mr. Daniels can tell you, that that's not to be used as a budget tool. That's dedicated for that, so we have to use it for that, or we lose it, or not able to give it back. So then we have the Solid Waste Division, and that's roughly about $1.1 million. Staffing on the administration, we have 3 people. Street maintenance, we have 8 people. On the grounds, which also includes the parks and cemeteries, 7 people. Solid waste, landfill, we have 4. Trash collection, 2. And facility maintenance, we have 3. Automotive garage, we have 2. And engineering, we have 1. Some of the tasks that we do as far as administration, we oversee the 30 full-time employees. In the summertime, we do get 4 to 6 seasonal employees. We oversee the budget to make sure that we spend our money properly, coordinate all the work to be performed and schedule it. Maintain all the record keeping for the different departments, which also includes the landfill, which is a lot of DEQ paperwork. Coordinate all of our safety meetings and documentation and certifications that we have to keep up. Oversee day-to-day operations to ensure that all the policies, procedures, everything is also being performed correctly. Handle any personnel matters, disciplinary actions, all DEQ compliance through the landfill as well. And then we also, I serve as the coordinator for the Keep Bedford Beautiful Commission. We also do the VDOT reports, handle all the gas reports for other departments because we are the central location for fuel. Our mechanics maintain and perform all of the work on town-owned vehicles and equipment, motors, backhoes, tractors, everything. And vehicle-wise, we're, probably 80, 85. Some of the things that we do there also is we perform our own state inspections, which saves a lot of money because we do get the stickers for free from the state. We don't have to pay, so if by taking your vehicle somewhere, that's $20 for a passenger vehicle or truck, and then anything above CDL and above, it's $50, and we don't have to pay, but we perform them ourselves. They also maintain a preventive maintenance program and keeping all the records for that to make sure everything's serviced correctly. Solid waste collector, they operate the trash truck and pick up all the residential and commercial trash, which comes up to about 50 tons a week that they pick up on normal. And that does not include the bulk pickup that we do. That's twice a year, and that usually ranges 50 to 60 tons per event. Grounds crew, we maintain over 250 acres property, which includes the parks, the cemeteries, which has to be mowed, weed-eated weekly from April to October. And that's a big challenge, and if you've been over to the cemetery, I think we do a great job keeping it up, and we do it in one day. And that's going through there, makes it all look good. We also coordinate on an average of about 100 funerals a year. And that also, when I say coordinated, that's meeting with the families, selling the graves, setting up, digging the graves, meeting with the funeral home, and making sure everything goes smoothly there. We also install foundations for grave markers. If somebody puts a mark on a grave, we put in the foundations for those. So we do 50 to 60 a year for those. We collect brush weekly from the curbside. Last year, that total from the curbside was about 800 tons a year. And then we get another 300 tons that comes in across the scales between residents and commercial at the landfill. Loose leaf collection from residents is about 150 tons a year. And when you think about leaves, how dry they are, that's a lot if you get 150 Sweeping, we sweep once a week, but we get about 20 tons of debris in a yearly basis that we sweep. We also put up all the Christmas lights, decorations, banners, except for the ones that the electric department's put on the candlesticks. We do everything else at the parks and the banners for the new banners that we bought. We mark and drag the baseball and softball fields for anything that's scheduled through the rec department. We maintain the streets, street maintenance, whether it be shoulder work, pothole work, asphalt work. We maintain all the parking lots. We replace and repair sidewalks as needed. We also, the street crew assists the ground crew with leaf and brush collection. Both crews fill in for trash collection for sick and vacation time. They also assist with the landfill during vacation and sick time. Holidays, they fill in because we have double days when we have to send up 2 trucks. We take care of all the signage in town, also on the streets and the buildings. We assist other departments when requests come in, because a lot of times they'll have records up here that needs to be moved to the record room, or moving furniture or discarding stuff, so we do that. We do all the right-of-way spraying for the town inside, other than the electric, they do their own. Storm drain pipes, ditches, we maintain and repair. Handle all the solid waste that comes in from commercial and residential, that's about 1,000 tons a month. We also do all of our own gas monitoring that is required by DEQ. We do, Dover handles the water monitoring, but we do the gas monitoring. We also take care of the grounds at the old landfill that we are regulated to maintain that. That's about 50 acres on the old field face that we have to cut down there. And a new requirement from DEQ that started last year is weekly litter control that has to be done at both landfills. So we take care of that. We have 2 people in the custodial staff that take care of all the buildings. And also they do the parks, the restrooms, farmers market, Edmond Street, Liberty Lake. We have 1 maintenance technician, which is probably very low. We need more than that staff that takes care of all the buildings, the mechanical, the carpentry, the plumbing, the electrical. It's handled by 1 person. Everybody helps out with special events, snow removal, anything that comes up like that, and emergencies after hours we take care of. And I will add that with the recent addition of the opting out or in of the trash carts, has created a little bit of burden for us, but we are handling it. But it has been a challenge to get that done. Answer any questions you have.
DW, what is the time frame for the leaf pickup?
Leaf pickup?
Yes.
So we currently have 1 truck out picking up leaves right now, and we pick up through January.
Through January.
January 31st, we pick it up.
Okay.
We have 2 trucks, but we don't have the staffing to run 2 trucks right now.
But it runs through January.
Yeah, because also with the new areas that come in, we had to add an additional trash truck for those areas 2 days a week. And we pull people from the other crews to run those trucks.
Okay. Hey, DW, when you say you inspect all town vehicles, it's not just public works, but it's also the electric vehicles and police vehicles as well?
And fire trucks.
And fire trucks, yes.
That is correct. Yes.
Yeah.
I just want to tell you, thank you for the awesome job that you do for our town.
Well, thanks, appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
DW, are we keeping the temps over the winter to kind of help catch up on anything?
Yeah, we are going to keep them right now due to staffing shortages. We will use the money that's saved on the salaries to keep them, because right now I think we are 4 down now.
Okay.
You're a full-time staff?
Yes, that is correct.
But I know most of the work that you've been doing it on short staff, so thank you very much for what y'all get done.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
DW, thank you for everything you and your staff do. You guys do a remarkable job. Congratulations on your newest appointment. Well earned, well deserved. Thank you for everything.
Thank you.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, DW. All right, Bart, next item.
Well, at this point, I'm going to recognize Mr. Todd Daniel from the local residency of the Virginia Department of Transportation to share information with you about the Smart Scale grant program.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, good to be with you tonight. If you think back, it's been quite a while. I was here and we were talking about the same topic talk about the roundabout concept at Independence and Longwood and Forest Road. You know, I've thought about how I will present this for some time since Mary called and asked me to come talk to you. I wanted to just tell you up front, I'm not here to sell it. Someone that I respect a lot saw me outside and said, "What are you here to sell tonight?" And not in a mean way, but you know, I do want to educate everyone as much as I can, and that's the audience, it's council, whoever. And I've got a slide in here about that. So I don't know, it's about 30 slides. I don't want to scare you. We're going to get through it really quick. And then stop me in the middle if you've got questions, and we won't have time at the end to answer
Can
questions.
y'all see, or do you want to go down there where you can see the slides?
Probably better.
Yeah. Well, we'll do that so we see them. I can't see it. I don't have eyes in the back of my head.
So this busy chart is nothing more than a calendar, and what I want to highlight is the orange. We're actually down here, a little bit late, but this summer, and what Mary needs from y'all, I'll talk about this at the end, it's just a commitment. Hey, yes, we want to explore this. Yes, we want to entertain it. Then she will tell us, specifically our planning staff in Salem, that the town of Bedford is interested in this project. Each locality gets one project that we will assist on, we being VDOT and consultants, to develop the application for. That's a pretty big lift for anyone. So that's where we are. We'll move up into here, a pre-app if the town chooses to go this route, or for any smart scale application that is. Pre-app will be due in March, and then it'll get streamed, which the intersection improvement at this location would likely stream in. And then we move on into the application. It's due August 1st, and then it gets scored, and we come back around to the 6-year plan development next year. So not a lot, not a heavy lift right now, just a thought that, hey, we may want to explore this. So this is a little more smart scale specific, smart scale being the funding program that we talked about before. Once again, pre-app, application, come back around, and this is where it gets actually adopted if it scores well enough and makes the plan. So I'll go through a few slides, and the slides came out of the study that Clark Nexon did for the town back in 2021, so I'm stealing from their presentation. So a little bit of information on what I'm going to show you. Basically, level of service, that's what we're going to talk about at the intersection. Level of service is a report card, right? If you see up here, A is really good, just like our report card. B is good, C is acceptable, we're doing okay. D is starting to be on the downside. F is failing, we had to throw an E in just to confuse everybody. E is intolerable, it's failing too. So E and F are basically on the failing side of the report card. This, if you can see it, this is what they look like, so no congestion right on down to a failing intersection, just too much traffic for that intersection to handle. So here's what we have today. Now today being 2019 when this data was collected for that 2021 study, so it's admittedly a little bit old, but you can see that we've got C's and B's, so we're going to pass, we're going to graduate, everything's okay. That's today. It's not perfect because we got some C's. If we move forward to 2045, and because I'm not a planner for highway projects, but we've got people that specialize in this, and the circle is there. So looking ahead with anticipated growth, traffic volumes going up and what have you, we're not doing too well. We've got a lot of E's and F's. We got a few C's thrown in there, but not good. So now, admittedly, this is anticipated. We don't know what we're going to have in 2045, but I think that we're going to have growth. We've got subdivision that someone spoke about earlier, and we know we've got some commercial development at that intersection that's coming. So we've got some growth coming. That usually means cars, that's what that means. So the study, just real quick, pulled out a 3-year crash study, 250-foot radius around the intersection. We had 18 crashes, and that breaks down what they were. The thing I wanted to point out here, that 4, so 3 out of the 11 rear ends, and the singular, there was a backing crash, they were injury crashes. So in 3 years, we had 4 injury crashes. That's what we're looking to reduce, is injury. No fatals here, thank goodness. It is a lower speed area, so you wouldn't necessarily expect the fatals, but reducing crashes, reducing injuries, that's the goal. This is just a graphic that I pulled out of the study that shows you where those crashes were. The yellows are the injury crashes. The blues are the property damage only. That just means the car got damaged, someone's property got damaged, no injury. All right, so reference, we get some traffic volumes. So 122, which is obviously the Longwood extension, or Independence from Dawn up to Longwood, that's 9,000. Then the 122 from Independence to North City West towards Liberty High School is about 4,000. And you see that the west end of Longwood is 9,000, and the east side, which is Forest Road, is upwards of 7. And those are recent counts, 2022. So it's pretty decent traffic. This is nothing more than a graphic that shows some turning movement. So what you see here is that the red is the AM peak hour, the blue is the PM, so AM and afternoon peak. What's interesting, so in the morning, so you got 226 people going through the Independence intersection, going straight through. That was interesting to me. But still, you got 200 here, 200 here, 150 and 150. And then in the afternoon, we got 203 going out of town. And that's a significant number to me because you've got your through lane and your left turn today. We don't have a right turn lane. I'm going to show you that concept in a minute. But keep in mind this 203 number going, this big number in the PM. So that is, what is that, 479 plus 15 is 494. Did I do that right? Something like that. So 494 vehicles in the evening, peak hour, whatever that hour is, probably around the 5 o'clock hour. So this is the turn lane concept that was in that study. So this is an option for the town, not necessarily a bad option, but it is a it's a stopgap measure, and they say that in the study. It's a potential interim measure. It's obviously less expensive. But I said, keep in mind of that volume. So what happens here if we do the right turn lane, right now it doesn't exist, right? So you've got your left turn lane, it starts back here somewhere. But with all that traffic in the evenings, what you'll see potentially is the backup to where you can't get to the right turn lane. So now the right turn lane doesn't necessarily do you a lot of good. The scorecard I'll show you in a minute does show improvement, but you got to be able to get to it to use it. So, and that admittedly is a small window, but during that peak hour, it can get busy and it loses its functionality. So this is a scorecard here for the turn lane. And you got some D's, but you don't see the E's and F's and all that stuff. This is what I was saying be cautious with, because if we're going eastbound on Longwood, we're headed to Forest, if I can't get to that right turn lane, then this line here doesn't do me any good. Admittedly, like I said, that's only a small window. But we see some improvement overall, C's and D's. We might graduate, I don't know. Now here's the concept. This is a big boy. And admittedly, this thing's pretty complex. I'm going to show you some examples at the end of some other roundabouts, but they're not this complex. The reason it looks so complex, it's got a lot of slip ramps for the right turns, which is generally a good thing. That's that traffic flow. But it's pretty big. It's a pretty big circle. Obviously, you got the market, you've got Forks here, Napa, Advance. A couple of things I want you to take note of in this case, and this is just a concept. This is not a plan. This will get revised, and fine-tuned and what have you. The Advance entrance, you don't see it here. It's a big deal. Any entrance, any commercial entrance, this entrance here to this park, to this property, if you don't, there's a concrete entrance there now. Doesn't exist in this concept. Even this is pretty close. That's the third entrance to the, I'm gonna call it Big Orange, to the Shell station.
That goes away too.
No, it's still there, Mr. Black, but I bring it up because this will get refined. So as designers look at it, as our engineers look at it, we've got a thing called the functional area of the intersection. And what that means is that is the area that intersection serves, and we try to restrict it. This is getting close. Does it stay? Maybe, probably. I can't give you 100%. It just depends, because what may happen is this movement here, so if I'm hauling paper from the mill and I'm going out of Independence, I'm coming down this lane right here and I'm coming around the circle and I'm going south. This, I can't tell you tonight that this diameter circle will accommodate that trailer. Now, the designers will run auto turn, it's a computer simulation called auto turn. They'll run that to make sure that the different lengths trailer can traverse it. This has got a concrete apron. That center island, the green, is obviously the vegetation, or the center of the circle. Then this second circle is a concrete apron, and then you've got your pavement. The concrete apron is there for trailers. It's designed, and I'll show you some examples, to track up on the concrete. So not a problem for tractor trailers to do that. It's slow moving and what have you. It's just, is this diameter big enough for that movement? If it's not, this could grow a little bit and it starts to cheat over into some of these properties. The one good thing coming out of Valley View, that piece of property right there, that island I call it, gives a little bit of relief valve to move this thing in that direction. I'm going to show you one in Franklin County, we did just that. And it makes it a lot easier to construct.
And that's a major problem, is that coming out of that valley right now. So, I mean, it's gonna obviously improve that.
Oh, yeah, it would be a leg on the roundabout. It would be a leg on the roundabout.
All right, so what about where the old forks, how do you envision that? Because there's potential development, not the forks. Right,
Oh, yeah.
But, Fulton's on.
Yeah, Fulton's on, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, so right now, we're not showing the entrance, you see this entrance here, and I know there's some concept plans, maybe even a site plan in the works for that. You know, where that entrance would be, I don't know, but that would be something that would, through the site plan process, the developer's gonna get an entrance of some sort, I would think.
So that's kind of leads to my question. So if you've got something kind of in the works now, and then this is kind of looking out, you know, being, how did you make those two things kind of fit now so that you're not, that site plan for that you know, the lot,
Yeah.
it is gonna be kind of incorporated into that, or are they gonna have to redo everything again?
Well,
That's my concern.
I probably won't have a good answer. It'll be incorporated, but so looking at the timeline, we're in 2023. The app process would go in 2024. We're several fiscal years out is where I'm headed.
Right.
I don't know how soon that development will actually break ground, but let's just assume it's next year. We're still 4 or 5 years away from construction. I don't think, you can't see the signal light in here, but obviously it's right here somewhere. I don't think that entrance is going to be right. It's probably going to be back here somewhere. So it would be incorporated in this project and reconstructed likely. Now you'll see with this though, this right turn lane, left and through. We've got that today, right? And you've got an outbound, I'll call it lane going into town, and you got the right turn lane. We've got that today, right? So there's not a lot of width change once you get out of the circle. And it's back here, it's back in the existing alignment. So there may be very little work to be done, but I think I'd be remiss if I said we won't have to touch it.
Right.
I think they would likely have to rebuild it.
But that would all be incorporated into this part of the project that VDOT would have.
Yeah, what we would have to do, because the development, it may not be on the ground while Mary and others are working on the application. Knowing it's coming, there will be some contingency built into the estimate. So in the smart scale application, there's obviously a concept, and then there's multiple phases. You got your PE phase, which is your design phase. You got your right-of-way phase, which is the phase where we buy properties if we need to, or compensate landowners for whatever impact there is. And there's a construction phase. So with knowing that may be there, it would just be a matter of Mary keeping that in everybody's mind, and we would do that too with the residency help with that. And then we would have to plan that in the estimated cost for something. Man, I know exactly what it is, but there'd be a contingency for that.
I think that's the biggest thing is, making sure we're not, impacting any of the current businesses, but, or trying to work with them.
stealing some of my thunder from me, because I do think you're right on that. I'll tell you now. I'm gonna give you the facts. I'm gonna tell you that it'll work. I'm gonna give you some positives. You all on council know your commercial property owners, your community members, and that's the thing. How does this impact those? In this one, 4 commercial properties, 5 commercial properties. This is coming. What does it do to them? The advance situation here. They still have an entrance. They can get in off of Broadway. They can get in off of Broadway. That not always preferred, but that's not a good intersection. Today's access management world probably wouldn't allow that intersection because this is, once again, it's in that functional area of the intersection. It's too close. I don't know if I said this last time. The corner property used to be the golden child. That's what everybody wanted. Today, not as much because of access. Still great visibility, but the access, it's poor. And we struggle with that as an agency a lot, dealing with those corner properties. I got a couple more of this, so we can still talk about some of it later. We'll zoom in a little bit. So here it is zoomed in. Once again, I can't tell you 100% that this diameter is enough. That'll get worked out. Note you got a dual lane piece of this. So this is a 2-lane for part of it, single lane at the bottom. And if I'm going straight through, obviously I just kind of get on through here and keep on going pretty quick. We know in the mornings, Independence going northbound is heavy. We talked about that. School lets out. Longwood Extension coming south, busy, backs up a long ways. In the evenings, if I'm coming out Longwood, headed east to Forest Road, that backs up. It gets quite heavy. That congestion will definitely be alleviated because this thing it's kind of like a slow-flowing faucet. It just keeps on flowing. And I'll show you some examples, like I said. So the only difference in what I showed you in this, that yellow, pedestrian accommodations. So we got some sidewalk in places, and that's something that the town will want to talk about and decide. I don't think that Mary needs to know that now, because once again, it's just at this point, yes, we want to explore this. We support submitting an application, and there'll be more conversation about that. But this does show that pet accommodations, if the town wanted the sidewalk, you got your crosswalks in place and what have you, and some people say you can't, the crosswalks and the roundabout don't work, but they do because you've got refuge islands. So the distance, each step, if you will, is fairly short for the pedestrian. They go to the island. I think I got a question in the audience.
Yeah, you're giving me a heart attack. This happens to be a main intersection of the Bedford Electric Transit.
It's a big pole there, isn't it?
And there's several big poles there. And you're talking about a fortune to relocate this.
Yeah. So back to what I was talking about, the phases. The right-of-way phase is actually a right-of-way and utilities phase. So there'll be cost estimations, and that actually affects the potential bottom line score of the project is the cost to do that. And utility relocation, especially in a more urban area, can be a very high cost. So that'll be captured. In fact, if this does go forward and the town explores it, Mary's probably going to be reaching out for some estimates. We've got utility experts, we've got a utility engineer that do that, but all that'll be included in the cost estimate. So this once again shows the potential pet access if that's what the town wants to do. All right, so remember we talked about, I'm going to jump back here real quick and see if I hit the right score. All right, so we had E's and F's, and we're not doing too good in school. Right in 2045, what we think where we're gonna be in 2045. So if I go back down here, this is what Clark Nexon tells us, based on the anticipated growth and what have you, and what we know about the flow of roundabouts and how it handles traffic and volumes. So we just started getting scholarships. We went to A's and B's. Mr. Warren can appreciate that comment. So good luck, by the way. So anyway, according to this study, this is a major improvement in the level of service. It's a great thing. It's a great thing. It improves safety too, and I'll hit some more generic info on safety. But that's what it shows. All right, so this is basically a flyer, a pamphlet, if you will. We got them in our office, and you can go on FHW's website and look at this electronically. It's been around over 10 years, I expect. I don't know the exact date of it. But I pulled out a piece of it here. And I said at the beginning that my goal was to, once again, educate, not necessarily sell. And that is the key. So I'll show you a roundabout in a second. It's one that we were very involved in Bedford residency. It's in Franklin County, at the intersection of 122 and 636, which is Hardy Road. So just south of Booker T, just south of the, kind of at the edge of the Westlake area. It's a three-way intersection. Hold on, I'll come back to that. Let me run through these and I'll get to the roundabout stats. So, you know, there is some aversion. It's natural. I've had it. I had it until I learned more about roundabouts. But, you know, it's emergency vehicles. We hear comments, well, the fire truck can't get through it. No problem. No problem whatsoever. In theory, if your traffic's flowing better, that slow flowing faucet, then at 5 o'clock in the evening and that fire truck's headed east, they won't have as much trouble as they do today because the traffic is moving. So the congestion is bad, in theory. You know, pedestrians, bicycles, no issue. You know, you are yielding to people getting in the circle already. I call it a circle. It's a roundabout. It's not a traffic circle. But it's easy. They're easy to navigate. Back page, this is a 2-page pamphlet. That's what it looks like. I pulled this out here. This is the safety part. So 90% reduction in fatalities. We don't have fatalities, thank goodness. So not really relevant here. But the reason for that is this. So no longer does an individual pull out, maybe run the red light, and have that 90-degree, what we call a T-bone crash. Doesn't exist here. And those are the most severe, too often fatal. Admittedly, the speeds, this is not a 55-mile-an-hour intersection, but it still can happen. I tell the story often. I've got to visit the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety. It's up north of Charlottesville. And I've been there twice, and I got to see them do some crash tests. So they take these nice new cars and they tear them all to pieces. But what stuck out to me the most was they had I don't know, I'll call it a 90-some model Ford Explorer. And it got T-boned by a 4-door passenger vehicle. And let me flip that. Yeah, no, the passenger vehicle got T-boned by the Ford Explorer. They had the crash dummies in the vehicle, and they got the paint on them, right? Well, out of the rear driver's side, on that seat, there was a passenger dummy, red paint. On the hood of that Explorer was a dent, I don't know, bigger than a softball, with that red paint. Well, that dummy didn't survive that crash. No way. And that really sticks out when you see this stuff. So we eliminate those crashes. We still can have a crash. We've had crashes in Franklin County. They are much less severe because the angle is much softer. Number one, you're slow, much slower. Once again, this is not a high-speed intersection, but it matters. Right here, 76% reduction in injuries, and then we reduce all crashes by 35. So these two here, that's a big numbers, and this is the one that we would probably look at the most right here. All right, so I'll go back to what I was saying, the one we were personally involved with, and I probably know the most about is Hardy Road and 122. If you're familiar with it, it's 3 well-acre intersections. What we had here, we had way too many severe crashes. We had multiple fatalities where people were pulling out in front of other traffic. It was 55 here at the time. That was not that now. And it was some bad crashes. So this started out as an application from Franklin County to improve this right turn lane. It's hard to tell here, but it was very narrow. And then put in a left turn lane for northbound traffic turning left on the Hardy Road. That evolved into adding signal lights. We talked about that a lot. Signal lights can create some marine crashes and what have you. We've got crashes at Independence and Longwood at the signal. Then it evolved into, hand in hand with Franklin County, it evolved into a roundabout. And we had public hearing several years ago, we had it in Burn Chimney, and I'll never forget there was some positive feedback, but there was just as much negative feedback. Feedback from just an average everyday citizen, feedback from some of the public safety folks that are driving ambulances and fire trucks. Like, no way this will work for fire trucks and stuff. Everybody was cordial, but there was a 50-50 split. We don't want this, yeah, this will work. So here it is today, and admittedly, this is not a Google shot. This comes from our district construction engineer that just happened to have a buddy that would fly him over the project, and he took this picture near the end of construction. So you don't see the center line and stuff yet, unfortunately, but this is it. So we went from this, and we're over here now with the roundabout. That helped a lot, like I said, for construction. We went to this. It works fantastic. Fantastic. I can count on one hand the number of people that once it opened have complained to me. One was about when they would put the lights up, because roundabouts get lights. We got the lights up. There has been a crash. I know of one for sure, maybe two. Minor, no issues whatsoever. The gentleman that owns this property here, I've talked to him a couple of times. Admittedly, his daughter works in Lynchburg District for VDOT, but he thinks it's great. As far as, because he saw too many crashes. Now, this crash right here was much worse than Independence and Longwood. I want to get that out there. I'm not comparing apples and apples here.
You know, I'm curious too, is that one also for long trailers?
Absolutely.
Trailers.
So this concrete apron,
Yes.
that's designed so the truck comes in and they're making this continue on north. So this is, southbound movement.
Yeah.
They're going to that trailer has to travel on that concrete. It's about 3 inches in differential. It's got a slope face on it, so that trailer pops up on it.
That's what that's for?
Yes, sir. That's called a truck apron. That's a truck apron.
That road gets a lot of.
Long trucks everywhere. Yeah. And you know, I can't say that every single truck hits the mark perfect. Some of that is driver dependent.
That's what it's.
So, but it will accommodate them. And I apologize. I should be able to tell you the diameter of this one versus what the concept shows in Independence and Longwood. I can't tell you that, but I can assure you that will be vetted, and it would have to be. It'd be absolutely. That's a big deal. So, and Brandon Long could even squeeze his fire truck through there. I expect that. All right. So a couple examples real quick. Mayflower and Oddfellows. This is a roundabout. It's fairly new. Closest to the 460 end. This is the truck traffic, what have you in it. This is on the other end of Oddfellows. I've only been through here a couple times, but they work pretty good. Admittedly, I haven't been through here in peak traffic time, but they do work pretty good. This one here is 150B off 81, and I put this in here because it's a dual lane. So when I'm coming out, so I'm coming off of 150, and I'm coming around this way, you got dual lanes. And you can go straight through in both lanes. And you gotta watch, you gotta be careful, because sometimes these folks, they're not paying attention. Mr. Barnhart gave me a few comments earlier, and he's right. Just because you have a roundabout doesn't mean you don't have to drive defensively. You still have to drive defensively. You gotta watch your neighbor. They should be yielding to you. But especially when you get into a dual lane situation, and the difference here, both of them can go straight through. The Independence concept, they both want to go straight through. So there's a difference. You got to pay attention. All right. So what's next? So like I said earlier, Mary's looking for just a commitment from town council that we want to explore this. We think we're going to apply for this. It's not 100% commitment, but I would say if you're unsure, I don't want to dissuade you, but I also don't want you to do something that you know you're not going to follow through with. But she needs, if the council decides she needs that commitment, then she'll tell our folks, hey, this is what I want you to work on for the town of Bedford. And then our group will do that. And then Mary would make the pre-app in March. She'd be working with us on the application once it got screened in over the summer. Now, in about June, no later than July, I would expect Mary or someone would come before you to seek a resolution of support, and that would be your official support for the project, and that has to go in with the application. The application won't move forward without official resolution support from the governing body of the locality. So that would be June, July, right?
I have a crazy question. I'm just curious, since most of us probably go to Lynchburg Journal, going to 21 does you have any information on that? How that roundabout did that they put there? You know, that one's right there by the
Right at U of L.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's anything, I've driven through it a bunch of times, going, I didn't know where you're talking about, but yeah, right there at JoJo's Pizza. It's funny, that thing's doable, right? Do a roundabout.
Yeah.
And you gotta watch, because somebody will start moving around on us a little bit. And both lanes coming out, we're coming home, dual lanes come out, and you gotta merge pretty quick. To my knowledge, it's doing fine, other than the pavement marking snafu. I don't know if y'all know what I'm talking about, but I don't think we can spell very well when we put that in. We figured that out though. But no, it's, from personal experience, it's fine. I've never seen congestion there at all. But also not necessarily there at the peak hour.
So in this planning process, will there be public involvement in that?
Yeah. So
I want to make sure, you know, we've heard from kind of.
So a couple things that we want to see, and this has evolved over SmartScale for the years, going back to round 3 or so. We didn't ask, we didn't require, we didn't advise the localities to seek information from the adjacent landowners to the projects, to necessarily hold a public hearing or anything, or a citizens information meeting, or whatever you want to call it. We do that today. We've learned, and personally learned from some stuff in the county, that, and the county staff does it today, they send letters and try to contact every adjacent landowner. Now, you can't contact every user, right? You're not going to call me, I'm a user. But all your surrounding business owners, absolutely. And then any other the town decided to contact to get their feedback. And then Mary would actually give us that feedback. I would recommend that the town have a public hearing, citizen information, whatever, just to get feedback from you.
And I know it is when that plan was presented, what, 2019, 21 was that what it was? Okay. All right, so, but I still think we probably.
I would do it again.
Do it again, yeah, because, yeah.
Yeah, because, you know, you've got new businesses coming in, it's got a little cold, let it do it again, you know, bring it back to life. So, let me think, did I miss anything? So Mary will be working on the application goes in August 1st, and then we wait to see how it scores, and then it's not about getting the 95, it's all about the competition, and none of us know what we'll be competing against, and there'll be a certain amount of money. I don't even know what the allocation will be for the district, but they'll rank the scores and they'll divvy up the money, and once the money runs out, that's the end of the project allocation. So no guarantees. It is 100% paid by the department. No town cost. The town can choose to add money to the cost, and that's buying down the cost, if you will. Because remember, it's a cost-benefit score. So the lower the cost with the same benefit, you're going to score higher. Some towns, some cities, some counties, Northern Virginia, Fairfax County, 1 million residents plus, they can buy down some of their projects. They can put public or local funds into them. Just saying it's possible, that's all. It's allowable. How about that? It's allowable. I want to go to the slide real quick, and we can talk some more if you got any more questions, just for everybody here or out there in YouTube land or whatever. This QR code, this bottom web address will take you to our website, virginiadot.org, for the innovative intersections. This particular address takes you to the roundabout video. It's 2.5 minutes. Just explains roundabouts, the basics of roundabouts. If you're interested, you can look at it. And Mr. Mayor, that's all I have, but I'll stay as long as you want to talk about it and ask questions. All right.
Anybody got any additional questions for Anybody got any additional questions for Mr. Dan? No?
I appreciate it. Very good presentation.
Thank you.
Very good.
All right, so, you want us we're planning on trying to take action tonight, if that's what we want to do, or, I mean, was this an action item or just an information item, kinda? I knew, because I know.
I don't see the harm in exploring it.
Yeah, I mean, because I knew you're under a time crunch a little bit on the 2-year cycle, so.
Yes, so, thank you, Mr. Mayor, thank you, Tom, for presenting that information. So, in order to be considered for the 2025 or 2024 round of funding, we'd have to put in the pre-application, as you mentioned, between March and April, in order to submit finally in August.
Right.
And that puts us in the queue to get 2025 funding that would not drop for probably 7 years, so you're talking 2032. So, VDOT, in order to proceed in helping us with the application, needs a commitment from council that you will want to proceed with the application in order for us to file that, to meet those deadlines. So, again, we'll be coming back in the future formally for resolution at that time, but they needed our commitment in order to begin working on this to help us apply for it. Otherwise, it would be on us to pay for the engineering costs that we need to do to make the application, and that can be expensive. So they just needed a little commitment at this time.
And like I said, it would be at least probably 8 years for construction started. Is that at best?
So, Mr. Mayor, it could be, but I can tell you that we're making efforts to accelerate projects. As an example, there's an intersection improvement that we're gonna build at Timber Ridge Road, right, 803 and 460, east of town. And that just got added to the 6-year plan, and we are starting project development. That's really accelerated.
Okay.
I'm not saying that would happen here. And we're a few years from construction, don't get me wrong. And this would take easily 2 years, the project development, easy.
Right.
But I would, you could see some project development start 27, 28. And then next thing you know, you're 2030 before you go to construction. Don't hold me to that, that's possible. Mary, it could go further out in the 6-year plan. Typically, it will go in the last 2 years of the 6-year plan. But we've just, internally, we're just trying to accelerate some of these projects.
So, any other discussion? I mean, obviously, we're looking to the future here. I mean, we know we're gonna see some growth on Independence. Forest is not gonna slow down growing.
No.
And, that traffic, a lot of that traffic is coming through Bedford. It's a major intersection, 2 major highways, I guess, going in right there. So, if we need to make a motion, I'd make a motion that we go ahead and apply for, or start the planning process to,
I will,
explore this.
I will say, since your last presentation, I was kind of on the fence, but since then, I've been through several of them. In fact, pulling my camping trailer, 41-foot trailer, through a number of them, and I was surprised how friendly it was. You get up on these and you don't know what to expect, but as you were pointing out, you have room for error, so to speak. If you go too short or whatever, that concrete bunker is going to take care of if you turn too sharp. Also, the one over on Oddfellows Road, right up the street, is the Appalachian Power Service building, and I've talked to some of those guys pulling the pole trailers through there, and they say it's no problem. So I'm in favor of it.
I'm in support.
Yeah.
So do we need a motion? Do we need a formal vote, or is this, what do you think, Mike?
Question's gonna be what VDOT feels its needs in order to start sinking some money into doing the engineering on this.
We
What do
don't
you
need a resolution. I think Mary needs that verbal confirmation, and she'll tell our folks.
So just a consensus instead of a motion?
I believe that would be sufficient. Mr.
Okay,
Mayor.
so let's, Bruce,
One
you
thing
got
I'd
some
like to
questions?
say about roundabouts. Now, I don't think it can be as bad as what I like to call the roundabout from hell. Basically, it was when I had to do a little bit of work up in Kalamazoo. Picture having a roundabout on 460, and if you get off on the wrong exit on the roundabout, then you have to go all the way around for about 5 miles and come back. I don't think it's going to be anything like that. Now, yeah, would much rather see a right turn lane myself. However, I could also see from your presentation how a roundabout could also be useful.
I say we move forward.
All right, so
I think we
let's just go.
Well, sorry.
Go. Bob,
Move forward, yeah.
Darren?
Yes. Yep.
I'm good, yes.
All right, so you got unanimous consent to go ahead and move forward with, working on the application. And obviously, we've expressed our big, things that got to be figured out. All right, next item.
Thanks, Todd.
Thanks, Todd. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, next item is the presentation from Mary.
Yeah, keeping in the transportation theme of tonight's meeting, Mary has some information to share from the Department of Rail and Public Transportation.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. It's been a while since you've had a formal update on the rail project, as we call it. I believe last you heard was October 25th of 2021 when the Moffett-Nichols study was completed, and it confirmed that we did meet ridership thresholds that would warrant a station. That also gave us a price tag that we would, consider, and going forward, what we have now is, with the further support of the Department of Rail and Public Transportation, is another update. And to give you some background on that, we've been evaluating solutions for a new intercity passenger rail stop to be served by Amtrak. The studies that were done previously was a 2016 feasibility study and a 2021 rail traffic control modeling study, which was done by Norfolk Southern. Many sites were evaluated through town, and the site along the north side of Macon Street, west of 4th Street, was chosen as a preferred location. That is to the left of the former Coffee Saunders building, along that on the south side of the rail tracks, north of Macon Street. After the town's application to improve Macon and Baldwin streets with smart scale funding was not approved due to the price tag, it was kind of put on a back burner back to us that we need to consider essential track improvements and then minor improvements to Macon Street necessary to access a proposed rail stop. So we did try to move that forward in one way with a smart scale fund, but the cost was just too great to do all of Macon Street. So where we are now, we have the concept design approach. And as I mentioned, the 2021 plan did it one way, and what the Department of Rail and Public Transportation has been doing with their consultant, WSP, has been to refine that approach so that we could make it more streamlined, more appropriate to just what we need here in Bedford now, ahead of the growth of a rail stop. So what that had, the previous one, was a large parking area, a full caretaker building with separate drop-off areas for passengers and transit vehicles. So now the minimal improvements would establish the new rail stop on the with the facilities on the south side of the track. Would be a new turnout that I'll show you. More limited parking and transit accommodations that could grow in the future. So this conceptual design was used to develop cost estimates for the rail stop with track and track signals, minor roadway improvements, be about 0.3 miles of Macon Street from 4th to the proposed rail stop, again not coming fully from the west from Baldwin, and then using the Federal Rail Administration's NEPA categorical exclusion worksheet. The engineering efforts would assess the potential impacts that the proposed Bedford stop may have relative to the environmental work. So it did not actually complete the NEPA, but just kind of gave us a framework to work from for trying to get a categorical exclusion, which would take it away from being a full-blown environmental project, knowing the owners have always been Norfolk Southern. So the concept that you'll see has a low-speed track siding on the south side of the existing Norfolk Southern mainline track, so this would be a new spur line. A new platform that would be 1,000 feet long, which is required for Amtrak, and the width of that would be 15 feet, in both minimums. A 30-space parking lot and transit drop-off area with access for buses and cars. There would be sidewalks, stairs, and ramps for ADA-compliant pedestrian access to the stop platform, and very minor improvements along Macon Street between the rail stop and 4th Street that I mentioned, and additional site grading at the rail stop with the new track, Macon Street improvements, and needed retaining walls that would minimize the impact to existing buildings and properties. So again, the streamlined model is going to look like this. And we have one more slide too that I'll zoom in on for you. But this gives you the full picture. The new rail siding is between the blue lines at the top. And within that, you've got a 1,000-foot platform that's high level boarding, which is you can roll on, roll off, no step up, step down, roll in. Retaining walls to show where we need the, minimize the effects against the buildings and other parcels. And then improvements along Macon Street, you can see that's a very small segment on the eastern side from 4th Street at the bridge behind Westgate Shopping Center, just to do the minimum of what would need to be done without full-on improvements to bring it up to a further standard. And zooming into that, this is what I was mentioning, would be an area that would be reserved for a future caretaker station location, but one wouldn't be needed at this time. It points out more the sidewalks and stairs that would be across the grade change, and the entrance for passenger vehicles and the bus entrance, and again, 30 spaces would be the minimum that this would have at this time. And so for the numbers, so the original estimate has grown a little based on more accurate costing from the railroad. I believe 80% of these costs are actually track improvements that need to be made. So the rail stop itself would be $13.3 million. The railroad with track and signals is $5.7 million. Improvements to Macon Street within the existing right-of-way would be $4.2 million for a total of $23.2. So then the numbers you see in italics, that's the required environmental studies I mentioned and the engineering, which would refine those numbers down. And that's $1.8 million is included in that 23. But the big question here is the match that would be required for any federal funding that we go for is generally 80-20. And so 20% of the 23 million is 4.6 million. And so that is a more accurate estimate that we've come through with Department of Rail and Public Transportation with their consultant.
Is that down from the 30%? Was it 30% last time?
It's generally 80-20 for federal funding.
Okay.
70-30 is
It was just the
was
cost
wireless.
estimate was higher when the last study, or is that what it
Yeah, so
was?
the last study had an estimate of 10.96.
Local.
That was all in cost. So then if you would take 20% of 10.9 is what you would be getting.
Okay, so the local amount's actually gone up.
Yes.
Some, okay.
Yes, by the cost doubling, the match goes up as well. So the question is where does that money come from? And what I'm hoping at some point we can find out what other state funding sources are available to help offset that, to help with the conversation of who else will be committing that match. But
It's a partnership.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Yes.
Right.
It's definitely a partnership among all parties that would benefit from this asset.
So what's the, kind of the next step is just trying to figure out if so how firm are these numbers, or how long do they last, kinda? I mean, in the time frame, if you move ahead, kinda, I mean, obviously, construction numbers change
Yes. Yeah.
all the time, but, I mean, are you committed to, like, would the 4.6 be the max of local funding, or it could go up if costs
It will
go up?
go with the cost estimates, because this is an FY '25 numbers, so anything beyond that is going to grow. So we just need to be prepared for what grants we're requesting, and then figure out what that grant would pay for. If it would be all in on the station as we're presenting it, that's one thing. If there's a grant that would pay for pieces and parts as we go, that's another thing. So it all depends on how we are able to phase the development, but all in cost.
So this is just an update right now?
Just
You
an
don't
update.
need anything from us as far as any...
So to let you know, we expect that the grant, Virginia Passenger Rail Authority applied for a CRISI grant, C-R-I-S-I, on our behalf a couple of years ago, and we were not awarded it. They were actually was only asking for $1 million just to do the NEPA environmental work, and they were putting up the match at that time, and their budget has been significantly constrained, so they're going to help us apply for any grants moving forward. But the CRISI grant does open again, we think, in December, and will close in January or February. So we are on a timeline only to the point that we need to know what we are going to be putting in for grants to know the match, because we have to move forward with the engineering costs to make sure that is accurate.
Okay.
Has the other two parties been notified about the updates and stuff like that?
Yes,
Yes, they have.
at the staff level.
Yes. Not officially.
All right, any other questions for Mary? So,
good info.
like I said, it's moving ahead a little bit now. We just gotta figure out how to pay for it like everything.
Yes.
So. All right,
Thank you.
anyway.
Thank you, Mary.
Thanks, Mary. All right, next item is, the fiscal year 2024 additional House Bill 599 funds.
The Code of Virginia provides for financial assistance to localities with police departments through the 599 program. The program is administered through the Department of Criminal Justice Services, and to receive this funding, the locality must have a police department as defined in state code, and all personnel must meet the minimum training requirements. To remain eligible, the police department must submit information to the state police further detailed in the program requirements. This funding has been received by the town for many years and is allocated based on the Appropriations Act. This funding is used to supplement local funding of the police department and is not allowed to be used for supplanting purposes. The town has been notified that the allocation for fiscal year 2024 will be $313,415. The amount appropriated in the fiscal year 2024 budget was $271,054. The difference of $42,361 is available for appropriation. The police department is requesting council to consider appropriating $12,000 towards additional training expenses and $30,361 towards equipment expenditures to include such items as a security fence for seized property. Tonight, Town Council is requested to approve a budget amendment which will appropriate budget to the general ledger accounts as follows. An increase in the revenue line item identified as state aid law enforcement of $42,361, and an increase in expenditure line items identified as training expense in the amount of $12,000 and equipment in the amount of $30,361.
We have a motion.
So moved.
Motion. Any discussion, questions?
Okay, question, maybe Captain Walker could explain this. Okay, any seized property from our town police, where does that go right now?
Sorry, Councilman, you asking about seized property?
Yeah, for like the fence, where we would build the fence for, when we seize property right now, where does it go?
Your vehicles, they go in public works, doesn't it?
Yeah, right now,
Right, good.
like if it's a vehicle or something like that we seize, if it's something large like that, that's where it's placed at the moment, yes.
Okay,
Yeah, if it's something else, it would be placed in our evidence room, if it's something that can fit there.
All right, thank you, Captain Walker.
Sorry?
Yeah, because, the thought process is the police department needs to have its own separate.
Yes,
Location
as
for-
part of our accreditation service.
Right,
we're supposed to have
that's
a
where I was
town
going.
lot that is only accessed by us,
Yeah,
and that's, that would be a portion of this, yes.
yeah, that's where I was going, that's where I was going with it. This was part of the accreditation thing, so, yeah, okay.
And that's been kind of a long-standing need that we want to address.
It's just,
Yeah,
it's a line item for the budget.
right, okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Nope, all right, roll call.
Mr. Hartman.
Aye.
Mr. Johansson.
Aye.
Mr. Sherlin.
Aye.
Mr. Stanley.
Aye.
Mr. Carson. Mr. Hale.
Aye.
Mayor Black.
Aye.
Motion carries with 7 ayes.
All right, next item is the resolution to cancel the second meeting in December to celebrate the holidays.
Do we have to?
So moved.
Darren?
Second.
As much as we got going on, we probably had to go.
It has been moved and seconded.
All right, so, we need to skip further discussion? Nope.
No.
Roll call.
Mr. Johansson.
Aye.
Mr. Sherlin.
Aye.
Mr. Stanley. Mr. Carson.
Aye.
Mr. Hale.
Aye.
Mr. Hartwick.
Aye.
Mayor Black.
Aye.
Motion carries with 7 ayes.
All right, so then the two new items, Mr. Warner, you want to go with it?
The first one was to deal with a request from D-Day for access to our property, I think is the correct way to phrase it.
Okay, all right, yeah, that's the one we had first. So basically what's going on up, and Mike can follow up with me. D-Day is getting ready to construct their walking trail. And I believe there's been some small areas where their plans and where they're constructing that trail is actually gonna encroach over onto the town property. So they've asked us for permission to do that, to go ahead and start construction, to, not delay construction. I talked to Mr. Lockby, I don't think I mean, it's a very, very small piece. Do you remember how much land it was, or does anybody Mary, do you know how much land it was that we were or do you have any idea? I mean, looking at the site, it was.
Before I make any decisions, I need to know how much land and what it is and where it is.
Right.
That was the question. I'm sorry, Mr.
No, go ahead.
But that was exactly what my question was as well, is if they just if they're just talking about needing to do staking and flagging on our property, then that's something that I think that you as mayor have authority to let them do non-invasive. They're gonna pick it up once they're done staking. If they're gonna need to disturb our property or dig it up a little bit, then that could be a temporary construction easement, which is another process, which is easy to do. That's pretty quick. You just need to have a council meeting to do it. If this is something where they're gonna need a full temporary slope easement in order to comply with a county grading plan, that might require a public hearing and everything by council, and we just don't know until they tell us what they're actually
We need to know
planning
more about
to
what
do.
they want to do.
Well, yeah, no, that's why we brought this up, so that we can,
Get more details.
so can we get, I mean, is that something we can get more details and actually take up at the next meeting, you think?
Ms.
Is that
Zirkle,
gonna?
can we do that?
I don't know what they want to do.
I think that you,
Will this be on
if you'll
the
pardon
property
me,
for the hotel?
sort of talking, Mr. Mayor,
First I've heard of it.
perhaps you could take point with conversing with Ms. Warner at the D-Day Memorial in order to figure all that out.
And this is a
Part
good
of-
time for me to note that my wife, Tara Warner, is the Chief of Staff for the National D-Day Memorial, so I will not be making any recommendation
Right.
whatsoever.
Yeah.
Right. This
So
is
that's why they reached out to me a little bit to get this conversation
Just
started.
give us a better idea of what they want.
So, no, I was actually just going to say, having Mr. Warner and Mrs. Warner negotiate a deal on behalf of the two entities did not seem,
Mary will have better luck than I will.
seemed like a COIA problem to me. But, so Mary, can you, Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, that's
Ms.
fine.
Zirkle, all
Like I
right.
said, I agree with Darren. I mean, because we talked about that. Do you need a permanent, a permanent easement?
Right.
That goes
It's
in
gonna create a-
perpetuity
right.
because they're gonna actually build their trail on
Right.
town land, or is it like, so.
Is this anywhere near the property for the?
Hotel, no,
It's
no,
nowhere
it was
near
not
that?
anywhere near the property for the hotel from.
Yeah, I mean,
From the
probably
information I
fine, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanna do it so that, it's never any problem down the
Down the road,
road
yeah.
for somebody that,
We just
or
need-
the town decides to do something with that piece of property, that it's,
Right.
because we've seen.
Things can happen.
Yeah, I can,
Anyway,
I just want to know how much land is really going to be involved with the trail that we own. Is it going to be just a couple feet? Is it going to be an acre? I have no idea. I want to at least get my facts and figures before I can say yay or nay.
So is this piece of property on the backside of the D-Day, what they talking about, the trail?
I don't think anybody knows. That's the
I
problem.
think we own that piece of property on the backside of the D-Day.
all right, so basically we just need to get more information, find out what we need to do to, which legal,
Yeah, so we can
process
figure
we
out
need
which
to do that.
process we need to do.
Right.
all right? Then Mark,
The other thing, and I'm going to pass this around and I'm going to read it as I do. We've been requested by our colleague Nicole Johnson with the Bedford Welcome Center to adopt a resolution supporting the Virginia America 250 Commission, and I'm going to read that as it circulates. Whereas the Town Council of the Town of Bedford is dedicated to the furtherance of economic development and tourism in the community, whereas the Virginia America 250 Commission was created in 2020 by the General Assembly for the purpose of preparing for and commemorating the 250th anniversary of Virginia's participation in American independence. Whereas the Virginia America 250 Commission has requested that each locality form a committee to aid in planning for the commemoration period that will be tasked with planning and coordinating programs within the locality and communicating regularly with the commission. And whereas the Bedford County Board of Supervisors adopted a resolution on September 11, 2023, indicating its wish to support the Virginia America 250 Commission and its efforts to commemorate this important historic milestone by forming a local committee as requested by the commission. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Council of the Town of Bedford hereby acknowledges its concurrence with the action taken by the Bedford County Board of Supervisors in support of the Virginia America 250 Commission, presumably adopted this 14th day of November, 2023.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions?
Seems reasonable.
All right, roll call.
Mr. Shelley?
Aye.
Mr. Stanley?
Aye.
Mr. Carson?
Aye.
Mr. Haley?
Aye.
Mr. Hartwick?
Aye.
Mr. Johansson?
Aye.
Mayor Black?
Aye.
Motion carries with 7 ayes.
All right, with that, we're adjourned.